So today we're at the Merchant's Millpond, which is a place I've been wanting to go to for a very, very long time. I've been waiting for pretty much all winter to come here because I don't want to get the pictures of a swamp in winter. Everybody seems to do that for some reason. It's buggy as hell. I'm getting eaten alive. But there's some alligators in the water here that we're going to try to get pictures of. And a lot of people have been telling me that you'd be an idiot if you went in the water with the alligators. So I rented a canoe. It's perfectly safe. That's pretty much what you do here. I just saw a beaver go under the water there. It was pretty beautiful. I thought it was a gator. I mean, everything tries to camouflage itself as a floating log. So if I see any turds floating around in the water, I'm gonna probably get a picture of it and zoom in later. As you enter the water here, the first thing you notice is just how alive it is. There's so many different things that are touching the underside of the boat, and every time I reach my paddle into the water, it feels like it hits something, whether that's a fish, some wood, some underwater plants, or some sort of, alligator. They are here. There's 10-foot ones, which makes this place both fascinating and terrifying at the same time, because any second, if I fall into the water, I'm going to find whatever is underneath, and there's so many snakes that I just see on the surface, turtles. I haven't seen any of the alligators, but I know they're here. There's also black bears and bobcats out on the shoreline. They surely don't come into the water because, they're probably smarter than me. The pond you see me in today is actually a man-made pond that came from the result of damming a section of the swamp. And despite it being man-made, it actually probably looks more closely to what this place's natural state is, because the swamp was dammed and drained in most of the areas to make way for trade or farming or various other activities that the settlers would do in the area. And the act of draining this swamp was probably one of the most brutal parts of American history that I hope to make a video on in the future. Keeping the water in strategic areas such as this mill pond allowed for farmers and various industrial zones in the time period that it was in use to have access to trade routes downstream and out to the coast, which was actually quite successful for the region, but didn't shape up for much of North Carolina due to the treacherous nature of the coastline here. Here we see the mill used when this pond was active. The sign, which you can pause on, explains all the various things milled here, from cotton to corn. Anything that needed seeds separated or needed to be ground coarse or fine. All that was needed was to tighten or widen the spirals inside the mechanism. The Merchant's Millpond is one of the most unique and enchanted places I've ever been to, and I'll surely be back here to look for the wildlife that lives here and capture more of the atmosphere, because this is a really incredible place. I highly recommend it, and I honestly do recommend paddling around. I just recommend that you don't go alone. One final note that I forgot to mention was that when I talked to some people from the area about the fact that I didn't find any alligators while I was at the Merchant's Millpond, they said that I should check the trees next time. And I looked into it, and apparently alligators can climb trees, so let that one be in your nightmares.